I'm actually literally from New Creek Precinct. If you want to know where I lived, it was right here in this apartment block. Overlooked a lot of these expansions. I know it looks like a factory, but we weren't very wealthy. Um, but spawning in the bottom right position of this wonderful map that I call my homeland, we have as the red Protoss player coming in for Axiom Esports. It is Alicia. And spawning in the bottom left position as the blue Terran player. With some very kinky play versus Heart to steal game number 2. It is Acer's MMA. MMA, one of the few Korean rappers known to not fear Hellbats. Of course, TvP is just a matchup that has just been developing so dynamically, so many interesting builds, so many crazy things, but MMA, he is looking to do a little bit of a kinky play himself with this gas first against Protoss. Of course, doing it versus Terran, super standard, normal, and lots of people do it, but versus Protoss, this is where things get interesting. He's already moving out a very fast SCV. We could see a proxy barracks from MMA, and this is interesting. I like this. I like it a lot. He's anticipating where the scouting probe will be in terms of not being able to spot this barracks. And I gotta say, we've seen a lot of weird proxies from Terran players in Heart of the Swarm using this. We've even seen them just build reactors and factories out in the center of the field to get stupidly fast Widow Mine drops over to their opponent's base. So MMA has quite a few options, a plethora of options, as I could say, as to how he wants to try to kill Alicia. Now, Alicia does have that double gas. This is a map that's also kind of known for, well, people go in proxy Stargate. Lots and lots of super crazy aggression. And I like this. Alicia actually wasn't mining any gas at all until the Cybernetics core started. So Alicia wanted to crank out a couple of extra minerals to be mined. Didn't want to have any sort of delayed core, delayed infrastructure. And MMA is turning that factory, and there's a reactor being built out in the center of the field by MMA. It's crazy how highly we Terran players end up valuing our reactors, but then you just build one in the middle of the field, and it's like, you know what? I know I'm going to abandon you someday, babe. They take so long to build. It's got to get, court. It's like a really, really nice courtship. And it's like, I really love you. You're going to do so much for me. But one day, I'm just going to have to fly away. I'm going to spread my wings or ignite my boosters and leave you here to die. Or just scout. But, alas, like any good drama love story, someone's got to die. So, Alicia is going to throw down an Nexus to expand. Not unusual at all, getting out of Mothership Core as well. This can be used to scout for proxies. The question is, will it be able to scout in the proper locations? SCV's done with the proxy buildings. Going to be a Reaper and 2 Widow Mines. Now, this is an interesting play. The double Widow Mine production, of course, is to bypass a Stalker that tries to get up in his grill and stop him from moving in. But with no starport for MMA, it looks like he is going to try to expand. This is not strong enough of a build for him to all-in off of this with his proxy. So we should see him throw it on a command center relatively soon. He's got a lot of money banked up. And this SCV is going to be chasing around, leading this Mothership Core on. Man, what a jerk. And the man, he's gotten 2 Hellions actually to follow up these first 2 Widow Mines. The Reaper is moving in as well. And the way I see this working is the Reaper drags this Stalker around. He pulls him towards the back of the base as he's trying to pick him off while these Widow Mines pretty much move in. I like to see him burrow 1 on the ramp and then burrow 1 in the main base mineral line just so he can try to catch any transferring probes. But here they go. 1, 2... Widow Mines moving in. He's going to get 1 on that pylon. He's going to move another one towards the right side. Ooh, dangerously close. Only gets a single probe with that mine. And oh, gets a nice little hit. 5 probe kills. These 2 Hellions going to run in immediately afterwards. MMA, he's got balls of steel diving in here for these probes. Alicia is going to transfer down towards the natural expansion, though. So there's no mines there. I like the extra pylon. Fortune overcharge is even activated, saying no. No, get out of here, MMA. What are you doing? Stop. And we do have a barracks coming up as a follow-up for MMA. And now the real question is, have his mines done enough damage? It looks like, based on the supply, pretty much. Oh, this mine actually now has 3 kills, so it gets another solid hit in here. And Alicia's going to build a photon cannon for detection. There's still no robotics facility on the way. It's just started, actually. And the mines are going to burrow in locations where they can be a little bit more detrimental. It basically is burrowing away from the photon cannons. This just so that Alicia cannot easily pick them off. But a lot of Hellions being produced MMA back at home. I like this a lot. It gives him mobility for Hellions to beat a Stalker. At any point, he could try to dive in here and kill off additional probes. Now that this Photon Overcharge is gone, this mine does pick off another probe, trying to run back towards the main base. And I felt like this would be better used as a gas denial, and now he's going to realize to bring him over. Okay, well, I can block the gas from being mined since you don't have any assimilators in your natural, but I don't know. Can Alicia see this? Yep. Ooh, MMA's going to be a little bit sour about that. In range of that cannon's vision. Intact. MMA following up with his Stimpack starting. He's got that reactor on his barracks, and now the Hellions are going to dive into the natural. MMA getting a lot of probe kills with these Hellions. He's got so many of these probes fried. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is why I want to keep your computer parts cool, because, man, they just melt if they get too hot, just like these poor little mechanical probes. And now MMA is looking so good. Alicia has lost so many workers this game. The probe count, it's 14 to 30 SCVs. How is Alicia going to be able to come back here? This is a really rough spot to be in. Alicia is going for a little bit of scouting, it looks like, with those Stalkers. I wouldn't use the word pressure to describe a scenario where you're going to run a Stalker into a Marauder inside of a bunker. But Alicia, has he actually even spotted that reactor? Yeah. The tragic love story continues. It's now been abandoned out in the middle of nowhere. But these Stalkers are going to try to put some pressure. But there's two bunkers. MMA saying, yeah, I don't know how much you can actually afford to build, but if you can afford to build anything, it's not going to get through. And the Hellions actually run into the natural again, cleaning up any fresh probes that weren't made. 26 probes have died this game. Jeez Louise. This has been a rough game for Alicia. MMA just piling on that aggression and doing so much damage with it. And the Stalkers are at the ramp. The Hellions might try to just run into the main base now, realizing, okay, you've blocked the door. And Alicia needs to be careful, because if these Hellions get into the main, that could basically end this game. Only takes a couple good volleys on the remaining probes. And of course, I mean, he does have the Observer. Don't think he's yet spotted this reactor. Maybe one day in the future they could love again and put a building on it. But this Mothership Core is just chilling now. It's got enough energy for a Photon Overcharge, so any follow-up pressure by MMA is going to have to be enough to punch through that Nexus. Although he is building up a significant number of forces, he's getting his combat shield behind this. His Stimpack is complete. First two medevacs are on the way, and this is where MMA is going to become a very scary main, diving in with medevacs. But ooh, the Hellions running back in towards the natural, but the Photon Overcharge activates. He only gets a single probe, losing the rest of those Hellions. So he's trying to make the most of his units, and you know what, that probe at this point, it's worth a lot. Templar Archives coming up for Alicia. And I feel like this isn't a terrible decision, but the problem is he doesn't have any AoE to actually kill this stemmed bio, and MMA just has so much coming. I don't rightly know that Alicia can stop this. This is going to be so rough. The storms are nowhere near going to be ready, but he's not even going to have storms started by the time this attack hits, and +1 attack is coming up. I feel like with that Robo, trying to get a Colossus out with some force fields might have been better, but Alicia just doesn't have the economy. MMA is running in. Photon Overcharges activated. These Stalkers are going to get focused down, blasted away. And he says, GG. MMA takes game number 3 here.